Hello everybody and welcome to WatchDan Reviews. Today I'll be taking a look at the 40mm Monta Oceanking in blue, but before I get started, I have to do a wrist check. Of course, the Janot silent service. I can't take it off the wrist, it's just that good. But we're not here for that today, are we? We're here for the Monta. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. You can see this beautiful little velour, or maybe it's what's that word? Like suede kind of pillow that it comes on. And that shiny blue. Oh, I'll talk about that more for sure. Set this guy aside. So this is the box it comes in. Let me go ahead and show it to you. It's a really, really nice box, guys. I don't know if it's wood or plastic or what, but it is beautiful. Comes with leather on the inside, or leatherette. It's very, very soft to the touch. It is so nice. It's probably the nicest box that I have. Oh, maybe not as nice as my Omega box, but it's pretty darn close. We're gonna have a towel today. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out because I'm gonna wear my glove and I'm going to hold the towel in the other hand and keep this watch nice and shiny for you guys. But let's have a look, huh? Monta, Swiss made. And a little Swiss fold over there. I love that attention to detail. That's super cool. On the back side, same thing, Monta, Swiss made. Very nice little towel. Throw that aside. We have our card. It's got a good firm stock to it. Purchased online February 28th, 2022. Model serial, 2-year warranty from date of purchase, which I will be using that warranty. Is that the Matterhorn? It's got to be the Matterhorn. I'll be using that warranty. I'll go into detail on that a little bit later. 1.5 links removed. And I think that's it. That's all we got in the box. So let me go ahead and put this aside and get to the meat. And the meat is this beautiful radiant blue sunburst Monta Oceanking. I've wanted this watch for quite some time, and I finally managed to pick it up because the price was right. And I am very happy that I did, because this is an awesome watch. Bear with me here. I'm gonna set this down for a second. Gonna put on my trusty white glove. You guys can just stare at that for a minute. We are ready for action. Okay, first things first. I could stare at the dial of this watch all day, every day. I am a huge fan of the Submariner Smurf, and I don't have $40,000 to spend. So this is my $1,500 Monta Smurf. And the blue on it is kind of hard to describe. It almost looks purple in some lights. But that hue right there, that shade of blue with that sunburst, that's actually a very accurate rendering of what color this watch really is. The blue on the bezel is pretty darn close to the blue on the dial. The hands and the indices are rhodium plated, and they're spaced out perfectly, and they are inlaid perfectly. Oh, not inlaid, but they are fastened to that dial perfectly. The hands glisten in the light so nicely. They have a little bit of a, they're at a little bit of an angle or something. They're not perfectly flat, and they just radiate in the light. The text is very nicely done, painted on there. It's not an applied logo, it's a painted logo. Oceanking, 1,000 feet, 304 meters. Just a little nod to the American roots of this watch, because this is an American-owned company and a Swiss-made company. Moving over to the side, and what you're going to notice on this watch, guys, is a whole lot of polishing, and a whole lot of very nice polishing. It is very, very nicely polished. I mean, maybe not black polished, but pretty darn close. And it's the attention to detail and the time it took to, you know, to get this level of polishing that really make this watch shine. There's polishing on the top bevel, and there's even a very light bevel on the bottom, which goes all the way to the edge. The rest of it is going to be a satin finish. And the satin finish on this watch is top-notch as well. It's obvious that they took the extra steps to get a very fine grain. It almost reminds me of the grain on my Zen 556, where it's kind of a step below polished, but it's a very nice grain. There are polished edges on each individual link, satin finished on the sides, but a very light polished bevel on each link all the way around. So even the bracelet shimmers. The screws are ever so slightly recessed on one side, and on the other side, it's a little bit of a disappointment, but they don't come all the way to the edge. They're slightly recessed, but they're tiny, so they're not very noticeable. The bracelet articulates all over the place. Trying to show you this. You know, it's an oyster style bracelet, but you have articulating centers on each link. And I've kind of described this before as almost like it feels like a snake's skin, the way it drapes. And it lends itself to ultimate levels of comfort on this watch. This watch could be worn all day, no problem. And I have done that before, and I forget that it's on my wrist, but then I look down and I see that blue and I go, oh man, that is nice. It's like being back in Hawaii when I was 16 years old looking at the ocean. Another light beveling where the end links meet the lugs. Very nice little mirror finish there. The bezel is kind of a cupcake. It's rather tall for a bezel, but it's a very slim case anyway, so they can afford a taller bezel. And it's slim for a number of reasons. For one, the bottom, well, the case back is quite svelte. I'll show you just how flat that is. Very, very flat. And they're able to squeeze an SW300 in here. And my understanding about the SW300 is it's very similar to the SW200 or the 2824 from ETA, but the difference is that it's a thinner profile. So it can fit into a thinner watch. So you have this kind of cupcake bezel, and you have this kind of cupcake crown. Now on the bezel, it works wonders. On the crown, not so much. While I think it is an excellent crown, I love that it's etched. It doesn't lend itself to being a particularly easy crown to actuate. It's not bad, but it's not the best. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate. When I unthread it, and I have big hands, you know, I have 7.5-inch wrist, I have big hands, so for me this crown's just a little small. And then the amount of surface area you have to grip is just the very end of it. So like other ones where it's kind of a rectangular shape from the side, this is sort of a cupcake, and I'll get a good picture or a good shot of that for you guys up close here. The winding, when I received this watch, I thought that there was something wrong, because just take a listen. There's no sound when you wind this watch. And it kind of pops back a little bit. But sure enough, it's winding, because when the watch dies, I wind it by the crown and it fires right up after about 10 turns. So there's nothing wrong with it. The SW300 is a very quiet winding movement. So when I go back to put this in, it's a little bit of an operation. And it's kind of hard for me with my big hands and big fingers to get this thing to thread up, but there we go, it's good. And once it's on, it's on. It's nice and snug, it's not gonna back out. So all in all, not a bad crown. It's beautiful, it looks very nice. It's obviously, it took them more time to make this a cupcake shape than it would have to just keep it a rectangle. So the road to hell is paved with good intentions, I suppose. The bezel, It is chunky and crunchy. Take a listen. Oops, sorry, camera. I wouldn't say it's hard to turn, but it's not the most graceful feeling bezel. It's sufficient. When I first got this watch, I noticed that my bezel doesn't line up perfectly, and it drives me crazy when I look at it because on a $2,000 watch, it's just unacceptable to have a bezel that doesn't line up perfectly. So going back to my warranty, I'll be using this, sending this thing back and having them fix that. But what I did is I actually was able to get my finger under here. The darn thing popped right off. So I got a good look at how it's put together. There's 4 ball bearings sunken into the case. One here, one here, one here, and one here. And when you turn it, those ball bearings recess. And that's what makes it stop. And there's also a click spring on the inside that stops it from going backwards. So it's an interesting design. I'm not sure if other companies have done it like that. I think they have a patent on the design of this bezel and how it functions. But man, just loosen up those ball bearings a little bit and make this thing a little easier to turn, would you? And please, 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 no more misaligned bezels. That's ridiculous. This is not a Seiko. This is not an SKX. This is a Monta Swiss-made watch. So that's all I got to say about that bezel. It's a ceramic insert. It's fully loomed all the way around, and it functions very nicely. I'll get some loom shots at the end of this video for you guys. The clasp is probably my favorite part of this watch. I love this clasp. It's beautiful. It's got a bevel all the way around. Polished bevel. It's got a polished flip lock here. Shine it up a little bit. It's got the Monta logo on it. Very nice. Go ahead and open this. They say you're supposed to squeeze it from the sides to open it. I don't know about that, but whatever. It's thick and hardy. And it flips right open. So when you get in here, a beautiful polished swing arm. And it's polished to perfection, of course. You can see it glistening in the light. It's very nice. It's just like the rest of the watch. You have a hockey puck for a closing mechanism. It is just, I wondered before I saw this watch, how does that thing close? Is it spring loaded or anything? No, it's not. It's slightly shaped like a cupcake, and it goes in and it just locks into place. And it's hard to see, but it holds very nice and tight. And if it didn't have this flip over, I would be a little nervous about this thing popping open, but because of that, it's good. It's not going anywhere. The micro adjustment mechanism in here is top notch. It's the best that I've encountered. It opens all the way, but it just gives you this very easy kind of indexed, you know, you can move it one slot at a time. And I really appreciate that because I'm always keeping it right here, but if my wrist swells up a little bit, pop it one, lock it up, good to go. So it's a very, very nice clasp. I'll pull this bracelet off in a little while, guys, so you can see the bracelet separate from the watch, and I'll give you a better look at that case back. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do that right now, so I'll be right back. And we're back. So first things first, I'll take a look at the bracelet. Why not? So here's the top side. There's the lugs. I'm sorry, the end links, not the lugs. A little bit of machining to them there to make them fit that case a little better. Pop out that spring bar there. That's a very nice little spring bar, huh? Looks just like the one in the Jeanneau. That comes off since it's a female end link. Let's get a little look at the back side of this thing. So even the back side is nicely grained. This is just such a comfortable bracelet. And there's no pinching, nothing like that. No squeezing of hair. It's just great. Take a look at the watch head real quick. I know I need to make these videos a little shorter. I could talk about this thing for hours, but you can see where that end link, see if I can get this to do it. The bottom of the end link's got a little step to it, and that step goes into that little step on the case side there. And they went ahead and brushed the inside of where the end links go. So very nice. Might as well look at the case back too while we're at it. The etching on the case back is top notch. It is so good. Look at that logo. So good. In my Jeanneau video yesterday, I talked about how the etching on the back of the case was not my favorite part. It was just lightly laser engraved. This is professionally done right here. Very nice. Very thin case back. And I love the polygon shape for the tool that removes the back there. Excellent, guys. Okay, I'm gonna pause this, put it back together, and be right back for some lume shots. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to combine my lume shots and my wrist shots. So you can see that this watch fits my 7.5-inch wrist perfectly. It's very nice to wear. Again, I can wear it all day. This watch is gaining about 2.5 seconds a day, so it's well within COSC certified limits. It could be a little better, but what am I going to complain about, right? That's excellent timekeeping. So we can see going into a darker room here. We're already utilizing that lume. And I'll come in here and I'll go ahead and shut this door so you can really see how bright and excellent the lume is on the Monta Oceanking, because it is phenomenal. There you go, guys. Very bright. And I love the way the indices are spaced out. It's super legible at nighttime. There's plenty of lume on the hands. That 12 o'clock indice has its own kind of shape to it. It's very easy to see, and the bezel is fully lumed all the way around. And I love that there's minute graduations from 0 up to 15. It's just very nice, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, comment. All of the above helps me know that I'm doing something right and that you want me to make more watch videos. This is my hobby, and I appreciate you joining me here. Everybody have a wonderful day. Bye now.